Hello, gamers, and welcome back to the next episode of the Intentional Game Design Podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. VidMC. How are you doing today, Vid?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Absolutely wonderful. I am good as well. It's been a little while since we've been here recording. I've been away. That's my fault. And we've got a little favor to ask. We're a new channel. We're just starting out. So if you enjoy what we're doing here, would you mind subscribing? We would love that very much. We're trying to build up our viewer base, and the more people we have watching this, the better. If you're subscribed, you'll hopefully get this appearing in your feed a little more frequently. All right, so quite a few snapshots have come out since our last video. 5, in fact, I think.
Yeah, we have 5 whole snapshots. The first one, though, is, I think, just kind of a carryover for exactly what we were talking about in the last podcast, because they kind of officially launched Happy Ghasts, right?
Officially in a snapshot, yes. It's been out. People have been able to play with it. We had so many questions about Ghasts, because it was just an announcement and we didn't have anything to go on. So now people have been playing with it. You've had to play with it yourself as well. I haven't had a chance yet because I've been away, but looks very exciting. And we've got answers to our questions. Specifically,
tell me the questions and I'll tell you the answers.
Okay, so we were like, it turns out Happy Ghasts and let's just call them Angry Ghasts, they're not the same thing. They're different mobs, effectively.
No, I think, 2 different things.
Yeah, we were assuming one was like a different variant of the other, and maybe there was some transformation state between the two. Nope.
There may still be at some point, but like, as far as the implementation currently, they are different things.
Very different. You can take a Happy Ghast to the Nether, and it'll remain a Happy Ghast. It does not get scarred by its experiences in the Nether.
Exactly.
There doesn't seem to be any correlation between the trauma of the Nether and the mental state of the Ghast as we were anticipating. So that's a bit disappointing. But like you say, maybe in the future they might expand on that a little bit.
Exactly. Also, when you get close to a Happy Ghast, you can stand on it, but you can't stand on a Ghast.
Yeah. So the
fall through.
Exactly. Angry Ghasts are still totally transparent, and that is another thing. You can stand on Happy Ghasts at any time on the top surface. You do not require the harness, so you can. The harness is just to be able to sit and control them,
to fly it around, right?
But they're a standable, moving surface in any state, which is pretty interesting.
You know, the thing I didn't test was falling from a great height and seeing if you can die to fall damage on top of a Happy Ghast. I think you can.
Probably. That would make sense.
I didn't try it.
There's still experimentation to do here, for sure. But
yeah, exactly.
Speaking of experimentation,
people will let us know.
I know that you've been playing around with them, and they have like a 4x4 hitbox, and you can squish them into a 4x4 space and do some interesting things with them.
I was able to do an elevator concept.
Yeah, that was great.
Where basically, just a simple thing. It took a bit of time to actually squeeze them in properly, because you have to kind of fly and then move them and get them right in. But once you get their hitbox aligned, you can box them in pretty easily, and they cannot move. They just kind of go up and down with you when you get on. And now that you can reach them from, I think the distance is now 12 blocks.
Right.
Really easy. So really far away, you can actually reach them.
Nice. So it'll be interesting to see if people integrate the sort of concept of an elevator into bases and use it as a way to navigate vertically. Interesting. Yeah,
I'm still not sure whether it's the best thing, but I'm sure people will do it anyway.
It's pretty slow. Yeah.
But I think somebody, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Exumavoid, who was showing off a concept where you could do what you used to be able to do way back with minecarts stacked up and just kind of like constantly right click them and then like go up really, really fast.
Oh, I see. Just like mount from one to the next.
Yeah, exactly. Where you're basically just mounting, unmounting, mounting, unmounting really, really fast. And that it does seem to work. So, but again, I don't know how practical that is.
Yeah. Interesting. So that's pretty much all of the things that really came in that 25W15A snapshot. It was just the Ghast block, the dried Ghast, the harness, etc. All those bits came in that single snapshot, and nice. I can't wait to play around with that some more and see what we can do with it.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Happy Ghast to actually be added to the game. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it, and there's stuff that we can talk about in the next snapshot related to that as well, because they changed leash mechanics specifically for the Happy Ghast, and maybe some of the things that we're seeing in the Minecraft movie as well, where they've got boats strapped underneath Ghasts carrying mobs.
Yeah. So summary of what's changed here is with the leashes now. Previously you could just leash a mob and drag it around, and you could have a separate leash in your hand. I forget 4 or 5 of them or something like that, and and
Yeah, yeah.
drag a couple of mobs, and then you can stick them on a fence post, and that was about the extent. But now you can leash mobs together and sort of chain them, daisy chain them effectively into like an unlimited string. Is there a limit to how many you can put in a leash?
I didn't see any limits on it. So, I mean, this is going to operate kind of like the way llamas worked before, where they would kind of follow each other. But now you can leash them and then they automatically follow each other. So you don't have to worry about extra ones wandering away.
Yeah.
You can leash mobs together. You can leash them in a big circle if you want to.
Yep.
You can leash them to fence posts like you always could. But what's neat is now when you, I think, right click to remove one from a leash, it only takes one. Or if you break the fence post, you're not going to unleash all the mobs. They're actually going to snap to you as a player.
Yeah.
So yeah, all kinds of really cool things that they've done with leashes. You can use dispensers to snip a leash away. You could snip with shears a lead away from a mob. So I don't know how useful that's going to be when you can really just right click and do it. But I guess if they're leashed together, how would you do it, right?
Yeah. Like I've not had a chance to play with this yet, but I'm struggling to see why. Well, what's the benefit of all of this to us as players? Like, is it going to make it easier to transport mobs around, or is it just
I think that's the goal.
Way?
I think honestly, like since they added the boat mechanics where you could leash a boat, that's made the ability to transport mobs really easy.
Yeah, that was big, right? That was huge.
Complaining for years, right?
Yeah, and dragging boats uphill,
villagers and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And being able to do that, I think this
that was useful.
Is kind of an enhancement to that. Like if you think about it, yeah, going, if you fly across the ocean and you grab yourself, a cow and put it in a boat, well, now you can get 4 boats, leash them all, and get 4 cows, or 2 of every mob. So you can do it all in one trip where you didn't have to do it before.
Yeah.
And now if you've got a land journey ahead of you, instead of trying to juggle between wheat in one hand and carrots in another hand and seeds in another hand to lead all your mobs back, you could just leash them all and just run across the land and they just come with you. And if it's too much, because the leads are popping because you've got like a big triangle of mobs behind you, you just leash them to each other and then you end up with a great big long chain.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm curious as to how much easier it genuinely makes moving mobs around, or if it's just a bit of a gimmick. Because there are other elements to what they've done here that seem more visual, more gimmicky, and less practical. So, going back to the happy Ghasts, you can, for example, leash like a boat to a happy Ghast underneath, and it has like 4 attachment points, and it looks like a crazy hot air balloon, basically. But the minute you sit on the boat, it breaks. Like,
yeah, I think that's I think it's more that they want you to be the one riding the top of the happy Ghast, and the mob or the boat underneath is for transporting mobs. So they want you to be able to, I don't know, go to a field, pick up a cow, put it in a boat, and then leash the boat to a happy Ghast, and then carry it away, fly away with it.
Maybe this is how you fly with mobs going forward, because they did nerf the elytra dragging with leashes as part of this, didn't they?
Exactly what I was just going to say. They now, if you use a firework rocket when flying with leashed entities, it breaks the leash instantly.
Yeah, you can glide, but not boost. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because that was actually one of my favorite things to do, is to get that timing just right, where you kind of fall a little bit and then you fire off quickly and you take off, and now that's just they're leaning into like, nope, you got to use the happy Ghast. So, okay, I guess that's what we're doing.
yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's some alignment here with Bedrock as well in a couple of ways with what leashes do as well, which is always for the
thickened
better.
up the image of the lead as well, so it's now 2 pixels instead of 1 pixel or something.
It looks better.
Yeah. The same snapshot did a couple other things. For example, the clouds. You now get clouds that go all the way to the horizon. We don't see it in this world.
I think we've turned off weather here. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any clouds. But yeah, so clouds is now a big important thing. And for those who love clouds, your clouds will go all the way to the horizon, which is kind of cool.
That is cool. It's just atmospheric. Yeah.
Yeah, change that's important to me and to other technical players is the chunk loader change.
Mm.
So they had in the last snapshot, or actually in the last release in 1.21.5, they actually broke chunk loaders, at least the standard design of chunk loaders, because they changed the hitbox of the nether portal from being the single line that is the nether portal to being the whole width of the block. And that broke some fundamental things.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't realize what had broken it, but that's
what they did. They decided that they wanted that, all you had to do is go near the nether portal, kind of 1 pixel into the nether portal, and you'll teleport.
Yeah, so that must change like what counts as passing through that event horizon.
Exactly. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that broke a lot of things, including the most common chunk loaders that are available. And so Mojang realized that was a mistake and they reverted it. So even in 25W16A, which is the snapshot, right after they fixed it, or they reverted it. Sorry, it's back. So you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Well, we do for now until we upgrade to yes, exactly.
Yeah, so I did have to make the changes on our server because we did upgrade our server to 1.21.5, and so the chunk loaders broke. I fixed them, and now when they come back in 1.21.6, we'll have to fix them back.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. In the next snapshot, we got the Locator Bar, which was also demoed in the events that we talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about the Locator Bar for sure. I'm still on the fence about the Locator Bar. I'm not sure I like it.
I think it has applications, but like I think in general gameplay, especially like how we play on a server, I just don't see it being that useful because we have like if we want to find someone, we have a map and stuff that we can use.
Yep.
And that's way more reliable.
I honestly feel. Yeah, I feel like it's going to get in the way more often than not.
We can turn it off if we want on the server as well.
That's exactly it. There's a game rule that allows you to turn it off, and I'm going to lean towards putting my vote on. Let's just remove it.
We'll see. But I think in some scenarios it could be useful. If you have like a mini game specific server, you can use it as a mechanic as part of your game, and they've made it fully customizable as well for modders and engineers to play around with, like the way it behaves and the colors and the shapes and
you can set your colors,
the way it disappears.
I'm sure you'll be able to set your icons and stuff as well.
Yeah, the icons, exactly that. You can set all of that. There's some team mechanics coming, which were mentioned but not released yet. Yeah. So I think there's some game-based server applications here for sure, but yeah, for us and the way we play, I struggle to see how it would really be that beneficial, unless we come up with some kind of mini game that uses its mechanic. But again,
that's all I'm thinking. The thing that comes to mind instantly is something like hide and seek. But I mean, that kind of defeats the purpose, right? Like if you go hide somewhere, like you're just going to use the locator bar, and like, oh well, you're clearly right there. It's like, yep, okay.
Yeah, so but by default, it doesn't show all mobs, just players, right?
Right. Yeah. I think that's the way it is. Although there is a server command that you can use to give any entity that little bar. So so you could hypothetically like tag a minecart or tag a skeleton or anything you wanted, as long as you knew the ID of that.
I wonder if you can you can flip that command dynamically. I'm thinking like Relic Runner. Imagine if you had you've already got the one that uses the bell mechanic to show the mobs.
Yeah.
What if you had another one that showed the locator bar temporarily, and you could see where all the Ravagers were for like 5 seconds?
Yeah. Oh, that's actually a good idea. I wonder. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to put a command block in, I'm sure, to toggle that on and off. So.
But
not sure whether I'd want to do that, but I
just an example. Lots of different interesting applications of this, but I guess we'll wait and see when it's in our hands how useful we all actually find it in day-to-day use. It does seem it's like it is tailored towards these more niche use cases than sort of general gameplay usefulness.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they thought ahead about it as well, because you can hide yourself from being located by crouching or wearing a carved pumpkin on your head or wearing a mob head or even using a potion of invisibility. So there are, they've pre-thought at least some of the scenarios.
Yep. Okay. So then I'm kind of a bit disappointed with this and the later thing they introduce. You can craft dried ghasts. What?
That's weird to me.
Yeah, me too. I
I
thought they were
kind
going
of
to be like a
thought,
special thing. You had to go and explore the world, but you
yeah,
can just make one for
like
some
very
bone
very
blocks and
rare,
ghast
right?
tears. I mean, ghast tears aren't that easy, but ghast farms are super easy to make, and
Yeah.
you could
I
craft
mean,
unlimited of
think
these
about the heart
things.
of the sea, right? Think about the heart of the sea. Like you have to go find a treasure map.
Hmm.
You have to find the treasure, and then you dig it up, and there's a chance that there's going to be a heart of the sea in the treasure.
Yeah,
Even that's fun. That's enjoyable for me to do. Even
yeah.
though like how often do you need a heart of the sea? Like I think I've made a conduit one time ever in my Minecraft life.
Mm.
You know, it's not a common thing. But dried ghast, I feel like I mean, I would like to have 2 or 3 happy ghasts, you know, that's cool, you know, maybe especially if you're doing a project,
Hmm.
but I mean, to have to go out and collect them, I think
It
is
made it
part
seem
of the
special
allure.
and rare and like a more unique thing. If you can just
Yeah.
craft it, like the renewable
Well,
resources you could craft it
yeah,
from. So, and then they changed
the
the recipe
argument
from needing a bone block in the
yeah,
ghasties to soul sand. What on earth's that?
yeah.
I know
But
there's,
I mean, soul sand just in the middle, right? You still
I
need
know,
8 gas tiers.
sure,
So
but
gas
like you
tiers
have a
are
ghast
not the
farm.
easiest thing to acquire. That's
Yeah,
what I was going to say, unless you build a gas farm.
like
So
ghast
the
farms are so
question is, are
simple.
people
It's a
gonna
platform with some glass, and that's it.
yeah, 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 some powder snow or wither roses or something, and you're done, right?
Yeah, like not
So I
hard.
guess that's going to be the thing. People are going to make farms for gas tiers. They're
Mm.
going to make farms to basically produce happy ghasts, and
Not only
then
that, later on,
eh,
they made
okay.
it piglin bartering. You just get them by piglin bartering.
Oh wait, you can get happy gas from. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you can get.
So not only
Oh,
can
I
you craft
completely
them, you can
forgot about
also buy and
that.
make them even less
You could just
rare.
pick them. Oh, geez. So like, yeah, I've already
Infinite.
got a piglin bartering setup.
Same. We've already got
I'm
infinite.
just gonna have hundreds of these things,
Yeah, I know.
right?
It's just it
Okay.
almost ruined it for me. Like it's just made this like
Yeah. So you're
thing
gonna
that
see
felt like
servers just
you've
full of
given me
these
an
things.
excuse to go into the world and explore,
Oh
and then you
no.
immediately took it away because we've already got all these
Yeah.
farms that can just give us infinite of these things. So bye
You
bye
know,
nether exploration, I
I'm
guess.
usually I'm usually a big fan of being able to craft, you know, large quantities of something,
Some
especially if it's
things,
a building block or
building
something.
resources, yes, totally
Yeah,
agree.
this I don't like it.
No,
I
I
don't
don't.
like the fact that you can get dried ghasts.
No,
So
I think it should have
maybe
remained
they'll
rare.
revert
Maybe
that.
they could have like increased the spawn rate of them in the Soul Sand
Exactly.
Valleys or something. Like,
Exactly. Every fossil should include one. Maybe.
yeah, or
You
two,
know?
or
That
whatever.
at
Because the
least you have to
fossils
fly around and
themselves
find
are only
fossils.
so
They're
common.
already rare,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, that would at least be something. And then, you know, you'd have to go find them. I mean, you look at like netherite. What's the chore to get netherite? You've got to go into a bastion, the most deadly place in any Minecraft server, guaranteed.
Yeah,
And you've got to find the right chest at the right time,
yeah.
you know,
There
the
could be
right
another
loot
place. They
table,
could put them in
and
there, right?
find that
Yeah.
netherite upgrade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they could put them
exactly.
in there with
But
another. They could put like, oh, maybe there's a chance to find happy ghasts in those chests, or maybe
yeah,
in a room in
exactly.
the bastion or something.
A chance, exactly. You know,
Just yeah,
that
like
maybe even have some sort of duplication ability so that
mhm,
once you find one, okay, you can duplicate it and get a couple more. Like
mhm.
LAs.
Yeah.
You know, make them at least that rare. But now, especially since you said piglin bartering, and I forgot completely that they had
Yeah,
added that.
I just couldn't believe
That's
it.
going to be crazy.
Yeah,
They're going to be a byproduct now to my piglin bartering
yeah,
farm. You know, I'm going to have like double chests full of them, and they're just going to go in the garbage. There's going to be people coming to me all the time, like,
exactly.
"Oh, do you have any dried gas?"
We're
It's like,
just
"Yeah,
going to be
take them. They're
burning them
filling up
by
my farm."
excess because they probably don't
Yep,
stack, and they're
yep,
probably just going to fill up chests and stuff.
yeah. I
Oh,
wonder
Mojang,
what the
disappointed. You
builders are
get
going to be
the
able to do
desk
with them.
flap of
Yeah.
disappointment, Mojang, on
Ah,
that
there you
one.
go. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Okay. So then the other thing that they did in the same snapshot
Mhm.
was that they changed the recipe for the lead.
Ah,
So now
yes.
it doesn't need a slime ball.
What?
It's just string.
Why did they have a slime ball in the first place? How is it's not sticky? I don't understand. This seems like a good change. I don't understand why the recipe was the way it
It
was.
was definitely a good change. I always pictured the lead with the slime ball in it to be like one of those toys. I don't know if you ever seen those things where it's like a hand, but it stretches and it's sticky, and you can
Oh,
kind of fling it and then hit things and pull them back.
yes. Yeah. It's like a big
Yeah,
goopy, sticky thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, that's kind of what I imagined for the lead, and maybe what they had in mind, or maybe they were trying to think slime would be glue, and you'd have to glue a lead to a mob. I don't know. For whatever reason, they put the slime ball in it, and it didn't make any sense. It was hard to get new leads.
It's just string, and you tie it in a loop. Done.
Yeah, done, right? And this is a good change. Makes sense.
Yep.
Gonna benefit a lot of players.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
it makes leads easier to get early game as well, because you had to go and find slime. Yeah,
you get the desk flap of approval.
Desk flap of approval. Love it. All right. Anything else? No, I think we've covered. Oh, splash potions, of course. They changed them, and the strength of the effect is now based on the distance between the hitboxes.
Right. Yeah. So that's again, one of those kind of technical things, but how much is it really going to affect people? Hard to say. When you throw a splash potion, I guess, yeah, if you hit them dead on, you'd expect them to get the full effect. I think the fall off was much greater before, right? Where if you throw a potion,
you kind of had to land it perfectly on your head. Like you threw it at your feet, or you threw it up in the air, straight up, and make it land on your head, and you'd get the full effect. But it didn't. It scaled weirdly, and now I think it scales more logically based on how far away you are from it.
I'm wondering if this is going to affect things like villager trading halls. I haven't tried this in the new Snapshot, but I know like one of the things that I usually do early on is I, put all my villagers in a line, and then I let them all get zombified by a zombie, and then I try to splash as many as I can at a time with a splash potion of weakness.
Yeah.
I know it's possible to do 4, but I always opt to do 3 anyway, because the 4 I find to be slightly unreliable. I wonder if this is going to make that more reliable, or just guarantee that it's not reliable.
It should still work. I mean, it should just reduce the effect, the length of the effect on the ones either side of the central one you're throwing at. And
and I mean, if it worked for 5 seconds, I'd be happy. I don't need it to be that long, because usually it's like splash, apple, 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 apple. Done.
I think that.
So how long is that?
it usually lasts a few minutes anyway, I think. So the ones either side of the villager will probably still get at least 30 seconds worth, maybe more. I don't see it being a problem. Well, but I'm not even sure we'll even notice really from this. I think it's just
that's kind of what I'm thinking. A lot of the changes are things that like they've made a subtle change, and the next Snapshot actually has something in it as well that does that exact same thing, where they made a subtle change that is a big deal when it's a big deal, but it's most of the time you'll never notice.
Yeah.
And the thing, of course, I'm talking about in Snapshot 25W19A is projectiles, and now the tolerance changing over time. They used to have a straight 0.3 block tolerance every block it traveled, right? Or something. It would vary up to 30% as it was traveling. Now, the first 2 ticks, it doesn't travel at all, but then it slowly increases its margin out for another 6 blocks or something, or 6 ticks, 6 game ticks, up until it gets to 0.3. So hypothetically, that means that if you're closer to a target, you should hit more often.
But it's speed based, right? So the arrow you're firing from your bow travels at a different speed depending on how much right click you give it, how much charge you give it. So I think at full speed, at full charge, in 2 ticks, I think I saw an arrow can travel 12 or 15 blocks or something. So
something. And
it basically won't deviate from the exact target in your crosshair at short range over that distance if you're shooting fully charged, and then it will deviate. The deviation will increase slightly the further you go. Does it just snap to the standard deviation after that, or does it increment the further you go?
It goes up incremental until it hits what it was before, and then it stays constant.
Okay, so it's not more inaccurate further out. It's just more accurate up close.
Exactly. So
might affect some mini games.
Shooting something point blank, you should have better accuracy when you're shooting point blank. But after after the 2 game ticks, which I don't know, that's probably going to be like 12 blocks or 16 blocks or something. You're not going to notice any difference.
I'm just thinking like in our gaming district on Igniter SMP, we have like a Star made a mini game, a shooting mini game where target blocks appear and you've got to shoot them. And I imagine it might affect that, so you may be able to get higher scores on that, for example.
It might. Now, here's something, strangely enough, when that change came out, I did some testing in my Redstone Creative testing world because I needed to know what happens with a dispenser firing arrows. Is it more accurate? So what I did is I set up a a dispenser, and then 2 blocks away, I set up a target block, and I filled it with arrows, and I fired the arrows. And between the current version that I'm playing in and the snapshot version, I didn't notice any difference.
Maybe it's only when a player fires?
When I increased the distance more, I did notice a difference. So when I went to 4 blocks between, for instance, on average, it was, about 11 blocks in the current version, so 1.21.5. But in the snapshot, it was only 9 blocks. So, or 9 power level. Sorry, the other way around. I was getting an average of 9 power level out of the target block in the current version, and 11 in the snapshot, which means hypothetically it was more accurate over a shorter distance.
Oh, even from a dispenser. Interesting.
Yeah, even from a dispenser. Now, I only did about 12 or 15 arrows, something like that, so it wasn't a huge sample size, but I wanted to try it anyway just to see. And from my very limited testing, it seemed to be more accurate.
Yeah, again, I think in standard gameplay, you're not going to notice this, right?
You're not going to notice. Yeah. You know what you are going to notice?
What's that?
You're going to notice fog when it rains.
I got the impression when this was announced, you weren't in favor of this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I've never been a fan of rain in Minecraft.
Rain in Minecraft sucks. I turn rain off.
Yeah.
But
that's
fog,
just it, exactly.
Fog is useful. I find fog very useful. I actually use a mod today. I use a mod called Better Fog, I think it's called. And I also use a customize.
It's called No Fog.
yeah. I used to use No Fog, but then I don't like the very hard line that you get at the edge of the render distance. And with Better Fog, you could customize it and say, like, I'll put some fog like way out there so that it at least smooths out to the very end. And that's what Better Fog does. And it seems to me like that's what this update does a little bit as well.
That's actually exactly what I was thinking. So it sounds to me like, especially when I was noticing some of the changes in a video I was watching where you could see, they've really made a difference in having that sort of fall off for as things get further away, they lighten up, they become more obscured by fog. And so you should now, especially if you're standing in front of something like mountains, you should see a real distinct difference in the color between the closer mountains and the ones that are further away.
Yeah, I'm going to give this a go and see if it fulfills the need of this mod and I can get rid of an additional complication in my stack of things.
So that idea I do like. The part of it that, just to kind of complete the circle, the part of it that I don't like is the fact that it now gets foggy when it rains, which means there's more reason to hate the rain because when it rains, suddenly you're just going to lose visibility on everywhere you're going. It's like, imagine the overworld becomes as foggy as the nether when it rains.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? Why do I need that? I don't need that in my life.
And this only affects the overworld. There's no nether effects here from what I can tell.
That's right.
So, I mean, it's atmospheric. They're trying to add more atmosphere because rain does reduce visibility and it does kind of give the illusion of fog, although it's really just, rain in the air that's making it difficult to see further. But I don't think anyone likes rain in Minecraft, right? It serves absolutely no purpose and it isn't really atmospheric other than making the game feel drab and horrible. Like I play a lot of Terra Firmacraft and also Terra Firmacraft, and rain has a function, as depressing as it is, and it's actually useful, and there are game mechanics tied to it.
I can totally see that there being game mechanics that would rely on rain, like farmland would stay hydrated without the need for water sources, or maybe
buckets
you could collect
and things
rain in water. Yeah,
well, I guess cauldrons fill, right? And in when it snows, they fill with snow. Like that's the only mechanic that exists.
Yeah, I know the powdered snow thing. Do cauldrons fill with water when it rains? I don't think they do. But if they do, maybe
I think they do. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting confused with what happens in Terra Firmacraft and barrels and stuff.
Tell us in the comments. I've never put down a cauldron to let it rain.
I assumed it would. Yeah, I think they refill. I'm pretty sure. Because it's the same mechanic as snow. It's just a different variant of the water. It's frozen or not.
Well, I was thinking that I know the powdered snow works, but
cauldron collects anything that drips, which is like lava and water.
Why would you ever need that mechanic? I mean, if you're in a dry biome like a desert, it's not going to rain at all. And if you're not in a dry biome, I mean, geez, look around. Have you seen? There's water everywhere. So why would you ever need Why would you ever need that?
I don't know. I don't know. It's not a useful
Yeah.
mechanic. I'll give you that. Other than collecting
No.
snow, but yeah, rain Mojang. Make it do something other than
Yeah.
depress us because it rains a
Yeah.
lot in
And
Minecraft.
not to mention the fact that as a YouTuber, I've got to bring this up, okay? Because if it rains, like YouTube video compression
Oh,
hates the rain.
also just editing
if it
and
rains,
cuts, and it's raining 1 minute and
yeah,
take and not raining the next, and
yeah.
this is why I turned
Well,
it
plus
off.
the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like rain. Who needs it?
So
Mojang, get rid
from
of
my
the rain.
experience of the game, with the rain turned off, suddenly it's just going to get foggier, and I'm not really going to know why.
Yeah.
That's going to be weird.
Well, I mean, it kind of does that with thunderstorms now, where
that's true. It does that too.
You just be working around, all of a sudden the whole sky will go dark, and like, what the heck?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're working in a warm biome like a desert. That's definitely happened to me where it's gone dark. And I'm like, I don't know why it's dark all of a sudden. It's a thunderstorm, but there's no rain or thunder here because I'm in a desert.
Yeah.
So
that is weird.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. Anything else on the snapshot list?
The only thing, it's not on a snapshot list, but they did announce the brand new cape, right?
Oh, yeah, there's a new cape, but you just get it by just logging in, right? Oh, look at that. A little fashion show here.
So that's all you got to do.
It looks a bit like a Christmas pudding.
I think this is just kind of like the new generic cape. I think Mojang is identifying users that have never had the opportunity to get a cape for whatever reason, whether they haven't been to an event or whether they haven't completed challenges or where they haven't upgraded their account from a Mojang account to a Minecraft account. All the little things that you need to do to acquire capes. They just wanted to have at least one cape in everyone's inventory so that, hey, you can put on a cape if you want. And this is the one. It's called Common.
Common cape. Christmas pudding cake. Yeah. Okay, yeah. You're a big cape boy. You get them all. I've never collected a cape in my life. I find them utterly useless. I hate the way they look. So I don't care.
It's simple collectible stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not usually into collectibles, but for some reason the capes, I'm like,
they're popular. Yeah, as much as I don't like them, I recognize they're popular. People like them, and do as you wish. But yeah, it's nice that everyone will get at least one option. Can't complain.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe if we've got time at the end here, obviously since we last recorded, a movie has been released as well, all about Minecraft.
Right.
I haven't seen it.
Was that? I forgot that happened. That happened after our last recording.
Yeah, exactly.
I have. I have definitely seen it.
Yeah, I think most people who play Minecraft have probably seen it at this stage. It seems to be doing pretty well.
Yeah.
But, what did you think?
It's doing pretty well, as you might imagine, for a movie that's about the biggest selling video game of all time. It's probably going to do pretty well, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, as an adult going to see the movie, as a Minecraft player, there was definitely things in it for me. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the movie, but as a kind of standalone movie, even somebody who, knows Minecraft, there's not a lot there for me. So I gave it a 4 out of 10 kind of thing for a movie. It's not awful, but it's whatever, but I'll tell you what changed it for me was the experience. Going to the theater and seeing it in the theater with the rowdy crowds. I don't encourage throwing popcorn or damaging the theaters or setting off fireworks, nothing like that. But I'm telling you, when I went, it was opening day and none of that stuff had happened yet. But when Jack Black says, I am Steve, the audience went crazy. And it was the whole audience. You couldn't even hear dialogue for the next 2 minutes because people were just screaming about how amazing that was.
Wow.
Definitely, if you like memes, if you like the, making fun of the memes from the trailer, every time one of the trailer lines gets mentioned, people are going to go crazy. Such a good experience in the theater. And I don't remember the last time I had a good experience in a theater like that. Usually you just go to the theater and it's pretty much the same as sitting and watching a movie at home. Yeah. Maybe a little better because you get a few laughs or cheers, whatever, from the audience. But this movie, standing ovation level, people went absolutely crazy. And I loved that.
Nice. Well, that experience sounds like hell on earth to me, and I'm going to wait for it to appear on streaming. It's definitely not my vibe, but I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to actually experience the movie itself. And I'm not expecting much.
You should see it in the theater. I'm telling you, Dark. Go see it. Even if you hate it, you'll have a story to tell.
No,
Just
I'm done
like,
with it.
nah, I'm done.
I've probably been to
Yeah,
the
after
theater more than a lot, like an order of magnitude more than most people in my life. But
yeah.
I'm done with that now. I'm
Okay. Oh,
environment's too much
okay.
outside
Fair
of my
enough.
control, so I'm happy to
Yeah.
like just wait till I can watch it at home in a safe space.
Well, yeah. To each his own. To each his own. I'm a bit of an introvert myself, but once in a while, I'm okay stepping outside of my comfort zone, and I don't think going to the movies is that far removed. So I'm pretty
It's
good.
well, I'm glad it was enjoyable, and yeah, I can't
It
wait till
was.
it's available to stream and I can watch it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be soon too. Well, actually, I'm not sure because the movie's still doing really well in the theaters.
Yeah, they'll
But
rinse that for all they can in
usually,
the theaters if it's still
yeah,
making
usually the
money at the
longer
box
it lasts in
office.
the theaters.
hmm Yeah,
Hmm.
and
Yeah. So
they'll time it, I'm sure, with to align with something to maximize the streaming
yeah,
outcome.
absolutely. Yeah, I'd give it another month, then it'll probably be out on something.
Mhm.
So,
All right, well, I think we can wrap that up there for today. I hope you enjoyed this one and all the discussions about all the snapshots. If you have any comments, please leave them below. If you want to see more of us talk about Minecraft updates in the coming future, then please subscribe. And I guess we'll see you all in the next episode. Thank you, Vid.
no, thank you for having me.
All right, and we'll see you all next time. Bye for now.
Bye.